How's it going today, guys? Our video today will be the beginner's guide for Gangplank. So he is a brawler top laner, but he's not really a conventional lane bully. Um, so he can poke because his Q stacks off of grasp. So his Q will proc grasp in lane, so you stack it up on the main wave and then you walk up and Q your opponent, and then you'll get the life steal on the Q itself when you Q the enemy champion. But the runes I go on him are Grasp of the Undying, Demolish because he doesn't really make use of the other two, Bone Plating. This is if you're against other lane champions that want to kind of trade, like full combo trade, so like for Nectin, so you just reduce the in lane damage on the back half of the combo after they initially hit you. If you're against poke like Teemo or Kennen, I would go the second wind to get the regen back, so you can, when they poke you, you regen a little bit more health. The last one is Overgrowth, the other one is the healing one, I think it's Revitalize. I just like Overgrowth because he is a farming based champion. And then your secondary tree, you can either go, I like going Mana Flow Band because I do like the Tear Start on him, because his Q is pretty mana heavy early on in the game. So I go Mana Flow and then Transcendence, just for the cooldown. Runes I go the ability Haste again here, and then either double armor or double MR based on my lane opponent. This is just a standard how I do it, because you can go the adaptive force, but if you're new to the champion, I'd rather just take the defensive stats so you can hopefully get out and not get bursted down. So for his abilities, he has the skill shot or point and click Q, which you just you Q, you target a champion and you Q them, or target a minion, and then you just hit them with the pistol. This does apply on hits, so you see here when I get my grasp stack up, I'm going to Q him, and you see the grasp procs on top of me. So that's what you can do, is you auto the minions, and then when you want to go up, you just trade, you Q the enemy champion, and then you get the grasp proc on them. That's your early game harass. Later on in the game is when you want to use the Q to last hit minions so that you get the additional gold income. So then, let's see here. So that gives me an additional 6 gold. It's 1 gold per, I believe, level in the Q skill itself, starting at 1 or 2 gold or something like that. So I like to early game use the Q to harass the enemy champion. You can use it to last hit certain things if they're too close to the minion wave and you can't walk up to melee it without getting harassed or losing out on a trade. Then you can use the Q to last hit there. But typically the way I play it is pretty safe because he's not the best early game champion. His main thing is he just uses the additional gold he gets from last hitting to scale harder than his opponents, or faster than his opponents. So you can use your Q to farm after you hit your Sheen breakpoint. Then it gets a lot easier, and you can chain it with your barrels to hit multiple minions and last hit multiple minions. So your W is just a self heal and a cleanse. It will remove sources of CC like stuns. It also removes Mord ult and suppresses, so you can cleanse out of Malzahar ulti. You can actually just immediately W as soon as Mord ultis you and he takes you to the Death Realm. You just W out and you're already out of the Death Realm. So it's just a straight counter to his ulti. And it also does heal you for more HP based on your missing HP. So you want to, if you're in the situation where you have, like you're brawling out, you can wait until you have a lower health pool so that you heal more when you press W. So you don't want to like heal yourself when you're at 80% unless you're peeling off the fight, but it does have about a 20-second cooldown, so it is pretty rough. The other one is the E powder keg chain. So this sets up a little powder keg, and then you see this circle around it. Is if I blow up this one and I have another one connected, it will pop the other one. That does not matter if the other one is at 1 stack or 2 stacks or whatever. It immediately pops it, so you can create chains there. Based on that, let me go top lane. You want one of the powder kegs to be closer to you, because if the enemy champion can hit it for free, they can pop it without you being able to burst it down. There are certain mechanics that you can do with the powder keg chain that lets you pop in different orders or pop the power kegs in different ways so that you can like harass into the back line. We'll cover that in the advanced guide. So then the main thing to do with him is just his breakpoints, and then his ulti is just a universal ulti that AoEs anywhere. So you do have to have some map awareness. So where like if your bot lane is engaging or they're trying to engage, it's actually a slow also, so that you can throw it behind the enemy line or on top of the enemy champions so that they get slowed and your bot lane can engage on them. And then your skill levels, you do want to go Q first, and then you can go W in lane as your level 2, depending on how well you are with your barrels, or you go E second. I typically go Q first, W second, just because I like to harass early on with the Qs onto the enemy champion, and then I just heal it back up. And then I'll level up E level 3, and then I'll go back to Q max with E either at, you can either level up E to level 3. It's just so you get more powder keg to throw out, and if you're good on the mechanics, you want to level up E, the powder keg mechanics. I'm not the greatest at it, so I actually only level it up to 3, and then I'll level up the recovery and the heal just so I can take trades and then you know, get that lower cooldown on it.
It's sweeter when it's stolen.
So the reason I don't like using your Q to last hit early is because of the mana cost, but then when you hit certain breakpoints, you'll see here, I'm going to auto this. When I hit that with the powder keg, I gain the Q gold for every minion I last hit there. So I got 21 gold there because I Q'd and killed 3 minions with the powder keg, the Q'd powder keg. So when I play him, I typically like to try and stay in lane as much as possible until I can back and afford a Sheen. The reason is like your Q will proc off the Sheen also, so it makes it a lot easier to last hit. So you see my sheen does go on cooldown when I shoot somebody, when I shoot the minions. So once you get the sheen, this is gonna be weird demonstration because I'm level 10. So once you get the sheen, you can 1 or 2 auto the range minions and then EQ them. So you see here, I'm going to auto this minion, auto this minion, auto this minion, and then Q will then kill the range minions, or the powder keg will last hit the range minions. So that's when I start generating and funneling more gold onto myself, is after you get your sheen. So at that point, you just want to kind of snowball away with your gold and your passive. So you want to try and last hit the minions after you get your sheen to get your silver serpent stacks, so that you can upgrade your ulti. The way I like to go about it is the fire at will that does 6 additional waves on your ulti, and then the Death's Daughter, which is the additional true damage. You'll get another circle on top of, or in the middle of the circle, where if you launch your ulti in that circle, it does true damage in the center of your ult. So depending on how your setup is, you can do either or first and then do the other one second. I just like the additional waves for the little additional damage there. And then that is about his basic gameplay mechanics. He is pretty straightforward. The other things that he has is his passive, which lets him, after like a cooldown, when you auto something, including towers, you put an additional kind of burn on it. You can reset this passive by popping a barrel. So you see here, I have the trial by fire stack, my sword goes on fire, I auto this gets a dot on it now. It does a decent chunk, but it does have to be your auto attack. Your Q does not apply the additional fire.
Fight like a man.
So that's also something else that you can play around, where if you're full engaging on somebody, you want to like auto Q, and then you want to set up a barrel, and then if you pop this barrel, you see here my trial by fire is back up. So then I can auto him again, and then I put a longer dot on them because they just burn for longer. The E is also your kind of escape because it has such a long range. If you're getting engaged on here, you can shoot this and you gain a movement speed buff as you pop the kegs. So it gives you a movement speed buff while you're running away or while you're chasing somebody down, and then you can keep chasing somebody down there. Other than that, you know, he just usually snowballs with his gold. He'll hit item spikes before his opponent does. So just because you're not dominating in lane and you're not like 5-0 or anything like that, like you're already winning by playing slow because you have passive gold on top of your opponents. So then you hit, say you hit your Divine Sunderer before your opponent does. So you hit your Mythic, and then they can't step up to you now. Now you deny them gold by playing aggressively on them because you know you're more powerful than them. And then you just keep snowballing more and more gold on top of yourself. And you can even get assists across the map by ulting. We'll cover a few more of the advanced playstyles of Gangplank in the next video. Again, I'm not the best barrel mechanic Gangplank player, but I know there are other videos out there that can demonstrate it a lot better than I can. But in the next video, I'll try and give a few more advanced guides on how to play Gangplank in different setups and more of his build paths. Thank you for checking out my champion guide. I hope that the tips in this video help you guys in your clan. I know that these are not the most popular builds in playstyles, however they are stepping stones to the gameplay. As a player, you can't expect to immediately play at a high level, just as you wouldn't expect a medical student to do a heart transplant without building up. Please let me know in the comments below the next champion you want to see. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. I hope these tips helped, and as always, keep climbing.